Welcome everyone today to this Helsinki University stage where we will be discussing startups, science-based innovation and how we could support more research coming out of the university and turn it into businesses that will change the world. We are here at Messukeskus in Helsinki at Slush 2019. And we also have a stream and viewers at Think Corner, Helsinki University space at the downtown Helsinki. So welcome also to everybody watching at Think Corner, exactly. Today, our first conversation here, we have Helsinki University Rector, Jari Niemelä, and we have Minister of Economic Affairs, Katri Kulmuni. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So our topic today is how decision makers and politicians could better support universities and scientists in turning their research and innovations into profitable businesses for the benefit of all of us. What do you think, Minister Kulmuni? What are your views on how politicians could help?
Of course, the basic platform needs to be publicly funded, that the kids have opportunity to go to school and to study as long as they wish and have the opportunity to reach the most highest level of academia. So of course that's our thing. We try to fix it on legislative terms and then of course financial terms, that it is supportive. But then the rest is actually up to the academia. And of course I see that it's really important that the public sector, the state, is involved there, that the businesses and the academia, the universities are doing tight collaboration, while, for example, thinking the climate neutrality 2035, which is government goal, it cannot be reached without investments, both public and private, but it of course needs the best technology and the research, and it can be only done through universities, so you can't really take any part of them out of it. But I hope that we can intensify it even more. There are great experiences about it globally, and although Finland is relatively good in it, but still we have things to develop, and further the cooperation between public sector, universities, businesses, because that's the only way to solve the big challenges, for example, climate change.
And Rector Niemelä, what do you think? What would you need, our university would need from politicians to help innovation?
Well, thank you. This is a very good question, and I fully agree with the Minister that this collaboration between universities, the public sector, companies, businesses is really important. And if we look at the universities, I would stress the importance of high-quality basic research. Basic research of high quality and that linked with education is really the strength of our system. And based on this high-quality knowledge, we can then derive innovations, startups, which then produce well-being for the society. But I really agree fully that we need to have this foundation as solid as possible, high-quality international research and education.
And so do you think there's a contradiction these days? I often talk to business leaders, and many, especially in technology fields, really emphasize how important the basic research and science is for our country and for the world as a whole and as a basis for successful businesses. But we've had a lot of cuts in funding in Finland for university funding and so on. Is money everything in this regard, or are there other things that decision makers could concretely do to help bring researchers and businesses together? Or is it all basically about funding?
I'd say it's not all about money. The money doesn't bring you the collaboration, although how much money you have, but if you don't do cooperation with the businesses, with the private sector, if the legislation isn't supportive on that direction, so it's not all about the money. Of course the money is crucial and important, but what the politicians and legislators do is to think the holistic approach on it. You can't look solely on it. The basic research is the basic, but it's not enough. You need to make business then out of it and scale it and sell it to the world. And then it comes, of course, revenues back and help us to fund again the new researchers in universities. So, of course, money is desperately needed. That's always true, but it's not all about money. There are a lot of cultural things likewise, how to make the cooperation happen. And a occasionally it might be so that then when you work in some organization, you solely look it from the organizational point of view, but we should always look from the big societal point of view of it, and that's really important.
What do you think?
Well, I would again agree with the minister that sufficient funding is needed, but it's not everything. I mean, we need these supportive and collaborative ecosystems where all this happens. It's the universities, it's the public sector, private sector, and so on. And from the university's point of view, we really need sufficient resources to do our job as well as we can, and then take the innovations that come from our research to the society, and together with societal actors create well-being for the society and save the world. So I would very much stress this collaboration between various parties. And of course, what we need to do in Finland is to strengthen this collaboration further. We are luckily a small country, so we know each other fairly well in this country, so we have a good possibility to create networks in this country and then take these networks international and create sort of international successes that way.
Can I add one thing, just an example? For example, the European publicly funded Horizon Europe is the biggest publicly funded research program, nearly 100 billion euros. So we have relatively good basis for the basic research on European level. But then when it comes to the business side, what happens to the basic research and the small startups then? So the next level of financing, the risk-based capital investments are more supported probably from China or United States. So then we might lose some of the basic research done here, and then it moves away. So of course it is money, you need to have the risk-based money as well, working with the basic funding for the research, but you need to have the both. It doesn't help if you have only the other. So the collaboration is so crucial that you have cooperation.
Yeah, I think it's very important in universities and research institutions to encourage researchers to think about their research from, let's say, a commercial point of view. So is there something in my research that could be applied in the society? Could it be an innovation that could be commercialized and so on? And then if there are ideas of that sort, then we should have mechanisms that encourage the researchers to take it further together with other actors, businesses and so on, to really get it out of the university and make a difference in the society. So I think we have all the good ingredients, but I think the really important issue is to encourage researchers to support them both mentally and also through resources to get the research out from their labs to the society. We have good mechanisms, but we still see some weaknesses in the chain where we could and should work together to really make it as easy for the researchers to do this and make sure that all the relevant research we do are taken into the society to benefit the humankind.
And the one way Helsinki University does this, that they have Helsinki Innovation Services, which is an incubator that helps researchers to create businesses out of their patents or out of their innovation.
Well, I would like to say that his Helsinki Innovation Services is a very good example of how you encourage and support researchers to really think about their research in terms of innovation and commercialization. It also shows that if you have this support, the researchers are really interested in doing these kinds of innovations and commercialization. So it's not that we are lacking ideas and sort of research. It's mainly question of support, both sort of mental support, encouragement, and also resources.
Definitely. So it's about the finance, but still you need to have the cultural encouragement that work for the research also openly in society, and encouragement for the businesses as well to contact the research and do cooperation. So encouragement definitely, and it's about culture.
And so one of the questions that often related to this comes up when researchers discuss these questions. How do we reward the researchers for spending time and efforts in turning their research into innovation? Because it might not be their life goal to become entrepreneurs. If they want to be academics, then they often feel that, well, the time spent on creating a business or creating innovation does not help them with their academic career, because all the requirements come from research publications and so on. So should we create systems where researchers could also benefit in their academic careers from having participated in more of a business side of things?
Well, being a researcher myself, I would say that most researchers are very interested in making sure that their research has a societal impact. So it's kind of inherent in us that we want to do good things in the society. So I think the basic mentality is such that we want to do good things. So that's good. And then we need some encouragement and support to do it. And there, of course, various kinds of reward systems might help. On the other hand, we have several examples, for instance, here in Helsinki, where a very good researcher is also a very good entrepreneur. So you can combine them both, do kind of dual careers. So yes, rewarding systems are perhaps helpful, but I think they should be designed very carefully so that you really encourage what you want to encourage and not something else.
Well, of course, you need to have the parts. Not all entrepreneurs are good researchers, and vice versa. Not all researchers are interested about how to marketalize their research. But the collaboration is crucial. That different kinds of persons and people do cooperation, because only then something new might come up. So if we only follow the same old line that we're used to do, probably nothing will ever change. So in that sense, of course. But I'd say that the encouragement and the excitement for the future, which is present both with the researchers and the businesses, while everyone, I assume, would like to make a better future.
I think we're running out of time, so thank you very much for your time, Minister Kulmuni and Rector Niemelä. And collaboration is the key, and we will have here at Slush more discussions where we actually have those scientists who have turned their innovation into businesses, so we'll have examples of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.